This is a video on cardiac muscle and nervous tissue. We'll first talk about cardiac muscle. Where do you find cardiac muscle? The name suggests it is found in the heart. Right? The cardiac muscle fibers. The cardiac muscle is made up of cardiac muscle fibers. So, the skeletal muscle is made up of skeletal muscle fibers. The smooth muscle is made up of smooth muscle fibers. The cardiac muscle is made up of cardiac muscle fibers. The cardiac muscle fibers, they show autorhythmicity. Autorhythmicity means the cardiac muscle fibers are capable of self-excitation. Self-excitation means they are capable of they generate their own wave. They generate their own wave of excitation, right? That spreads throughout the cardiac musculature to cause beating of heart. This is the meaning of autorhythmicity. Autorhythmicity means they are capable of self-excitation. The muscle fibers, they generate their own wave of excitation, and that excitation wave quickly spreads throughout the cardiac muscle fibers from one fiber to the other fiber. It spreads through the cardiac musculature and it causes the beating of the heart, right? So since the muscle fibers are capable of self-excitation, they generate their own wave, means they do not require a neural impulse or neural stimulus for their contraction. They are self-excitatory. They show autorhythmicity. That means they can contract themselves. They do not require a neural stimulus. That means the cardiac muscle fibers are myogenic, right? The skeletal muscles are neurogenic. The single unit smooth muscles we talked about, they are also automatic rhythmicity. So they are also they are also myogenic. The multi-unit smooth muscles, they are neurogenic. The cardiac muscle is myogenic. Myogenic means they do not require any neural stimulus for their contraction. They show autorhythmicity. So wherever the muscle fibers, they are self-excitatory. That means the neural stimulus is not required for their contraction. So if we look at the structure of the cardiac muscle fibers, cardiac muscle fibers. The cardiac muscle fibers are short, they are thick, they are placed end to end, they are uninucleated, and they are striated. These are the features of cardiac muscle fiber. So if I draw a cardiac muscle fiber, suppose this is a cardiac muscle fiber, no? They are placed end to end. So I have shown you here 3 cardiac muscle fibers. This is one cardiac muscle fiber, short and thick, right? Striated. This is another cardiac muscle fiber, and this is third cardiac muscle fiber, and they are placed end to end, no? they are placed end to end. And the cardiac muscle fibers, they are uninucleated and they are striated, right? And these cardiac muscle fibers, they are rich in mitochondria and they are rich in glycogen granules. Why? Because the cardiac muscle fibers, they are contracting all the time, right? So they are contracting all the time. Your heart is beating all the time. The cardiac muscle fibers are contracting. So for contraction, they require energy. And what is the source of energy? The glycogen. And where will this glycogen get oxidized to produce energy? That is mitochondria. So the cardiac muscle fibers, they have abundant mitochondria, abundant glycogen granules, because the cardiac muscle fibers are contracting all the time. So they require the energy in the form of glycogen, and the site where the glycogen will be oxidized is the mitochondria, right? Then the cardiac muscle fibers, they show branching. You know, if I draw, this is the branching nature of cardiac muscle. The cardiac muscle fibers, they show branching. These are the cardiac muscle fibers. No, this is a fiber. This is a fiber. This is. So I am drawing these cardiac muscle fibers as short and thick structures. You see, they are placed end to end and they are uninucleated, and the cardiac muscle fibers, they show branching. Here the two branching are meeting. Right? So the cardiac muscle fiber, it has a branch nature where the two cardiac cells, they meet end to end. No, these points. These are called intercalated disc. Right? So these are the points, these are all intercalated discs where the two cardiac cells, they meet end to end, and these discs, at these discs, they have numerous gap junctions and adhering junctions. Right? So gap junctions are communicating junctions and adhering junctions which will hold the two cells together. So at these points where the two ends are meeting end to end, these junctions are called intercalated disc. And at the intercalated disc, there are numerous gap junctions which are communicating junctions and adhering junctions. So the cardiac muscle, the cardiac muscle fibers, they show two main properties. One is branching, and the other is they have numerous gap junctions. The cardiac muscle, it shows branching, and the cardiac muscle shows numerous gap junctions between the cardiac muscle cells. And because of these two features, the wave of excitation quickly spreads throughout the cardiac musculature. There is a lot of branching, and there are numerous gap junctions. So the wave of excitation can quickly spread through these gap junctions and through these branching from one fiber to the other fiber, and it can spread throughout the musculature to cause the beating of the heart. So the branching and the gap junctions, they quickly spread. They quickly spread the wave of excitation, right, throughout the heart. Right? And this will cause the beating of the heart. right? So this is a brief account of the cardiac muscle. You will find it in the heart. Then it is made up of cardiac muscle fibers. Then cardiac muscle fibers, they show autorhythmicity. They are capable of self excitation, so they do not require a neural impulse, right? So the cardiac muscles are called to be myogenic. So another myogenic muscle we had talked about is the single unit smooth muscle. No? That is also myogenic, self-excitatory. The skeletal muscles are neurogenic. The multi-unit smooth muscles are neurogenic. The cardiac muscle is myogenic, does not require a neural signal. They are capable of self-excitation. And then the cardiac muscle fibers, you can see they are short, they are thick, they are uninucleated, they are striated, and they show, the muscle fibers, they show branching, and where the two cells meet end to end, these are called intercalated discs, and these discs have numerous gap junctions. So because of these numerous gap junctions between the cells and because of the branching nature, the wave of excitation can quickly spread from one fiber to the other fiber, spreads throughout the heart and causes the contraction of the heart. So this is a very diagrammatic picture of cardiac muscle. If you will see the slide of cardiac muscle, you will see something like this. Right? You will see the cardiac muscle like this. So these will be the cardiac muscle cells like this. So this is a cardiac muscle fiber, no, that shows branching. This is intercalated disc. This is how you will see under the microscope cardiac muscle. This is the cardiac muscle. This is a very diagrammatic picture just to make the concept clear. Otherwise, you will see it like this under the microscope, right? So this is your cardiac muscle. And then we move to the nervous tissue. Nervous tissue is made up of two types of cells. One is a neuron, you all are aware, and another cell is neuroglia. These are the two types of cells which make a nervous tissue. So epithelial tissue is made up of epithelial cells, the connective tissue is made up of many different types of cells, the fibroblasts, the macrophages, the mast cells. The muscular tissue consists of the muscle cells which are known as muscle fibers. The nervous tissue consists of the cells which are called as neurons and neuroglia. So your central nervous system, that is your brain, your spinal cord, and your peripheral nervous system, that is your nerves. They are all made up of the nervous tissue. That means they are all made up of not only neurons, other than neurons they have the neuroglia. So we'll first talk about the neuron, which are the main cells of your nervous tissue, right? So neurons, these are excitable cells. Excitable cells means when the neurons are stimulated. When the neurons are stimulated, they get excited. They are called as excitable cells. Number two, the neurons are specialized for receiving and transmitting messages. Whenever there is any change in your internal environment or external environment, the neurons, they will receive the message and they will transmit that message to the CNS for analysis, and then will bring the motor commands after analysis from the CNS to the organs to bring about the action. So all function of the nervous system is being brought about by neurons. The nervous system, it receives messages, it analyzes messages in CNS and responds to those messages by sending the motor commands to your muscles in the peripheral organs. And all this function is being carried out by the neurons. Neurons receive the message, take the message to the CNS and then bring the motor commands from the CNS to the peripheral organs to bring about action. So they are specialized for receiving and transmitting messages that makes the function of the nervous system possible. So nervous system, the neurons we talked about are excitable cells. Now what do we mean by excitable cells? Suppose this is the plasma membrane of neuron. This is plasma membrane of neuron. I can call it as neuronal membrane. Right? Neuron is a nerve cell. It is a cell. It is bounded by a plasma membrane. I have just shown you a part of the plasma membrane of a neuron. Suppose this is the plasma membrane. Inside the plasma membrane, we have cytoplasm. Every cell has cytoplasm inside the plasma membrane. And outside, it has extracellular fluid. So this is the plasma membrane. Say this is the plasma membrane of a nerve cell. And beneath the plasma membrane, within the cell, we have cytoplasm, and outside the cell, we have extracellular fluid. The ECF and the cytoplasm, they have different concentration of ions. The anions and cations, you have a different composition of ions in ECF and cytoplasm. And because of this different concentration of ions, there occurs a potential difference across this membrane. इस membrane के across we have a potential difference. Why do we have potential difference? Because we have a difference in the concentration of ions across this neuronal membrane. And this potential difference is called as membrane potential. Right? And because of this difference in the concentration of ions, the membrane potential is the inside of the neuronal membrane has negative charge and the outside it has positive charge. So your plasma membrane, it has a membrane potential. It has a membrane potential means it has a potential difference across the neuronal membrane, and this potential difference across the plasma membrane of the neuron, this is called membrane potential. And why there is a membrane potential? Because you have a difference in the concentration of ions in ECF and cytoplasm. So your plasma membrane, it has a voltage. It has a membrane potential with inside negative with respect to outside, right? So what happens when you stimulate a neuron? When you stimulate a neuron, what happens? At the point of stimulus, the membrane potential changes. There is movement of ions inside and outside. So the membrane potential will change. At the point of stimulus, the inside becomes positive and the outside becomes negative. And in the rest of the membrane potential is still the same. Right? So at this point, your membrane potential has changed. This is called as excitation. So your neuron, it has got excited. Excited means there is a change in the membrane potential because of the movement of the ions in and out. So the inside becomes positive and outside becomes negative. So at this point, the membrane potential changes, and then this change in membrane potential will trigger the potential to change in the adjacent area. So then here the membrane potential will change, and then this will trigger the change in the adjacent area. So you have a wave of electrical potential changes that is propagating along the neuronal membrane, right? सो इधर मेम्ब्रेन पोटेंशियल चेंज होगा, फिर यहाँ पर होगा, फिर यहाँ पर होगा. सो यू हैव अ वेव ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिकल पोटेंशियल चेंजेस propagating along the neuron, and this wave of electrical potential changes, this wave of electrical potential changes propagating along the neuronal membrane is called nerve impulse, right? So what is nerve impulse is? It is a wave of electrical potential changes, and in the form of nerve impulse, the message is being transmitted, or it is being carried by the neuron from the organs to the CNS, and from CNS back to the organs. This is how the neurons they work. Whenever they are excitable cells. Whenever they are stimulated, they get excited. The membrane potential will change, and then this membrane potential, this membrane potential will then this change in the membrane potential will then propagate along the neuron, and this wave of electrical potential changes which is propagating is called as the nerve impulse. And in the form of nerve impulse, what is going on? The neuron is taking the messages from organ to CNS, and from CNS to the organs after the analysis. So this is how the neuron is functioning. The cell is excitable, they get stimulated, right? When they get stimulated, they get excited. At the point of stimulus, the membrane potential will change, and then this change in the membrane potential will propagate all along the neuron, and this wave of electrical potential changes is called as a nerve impulse, and the message is being carried from the organ to the CNS and back to the CNS, and that makes the functioning of the nervous system possible, right? So this is how the neurons they function. So neurons they show two properties. If I say they show excitability and conductibility. These are the two properties. The muscle fibers they show contractility. They have a power to contract. They have a capability of excitation and conduction. Excitability means the membrane potential will change. This is called excitability, and then this change in the membrane potential will then propagate, right? This is called as the conductibility. So it is excitability and conductibility that makes the functions of the nervous system possible. Neurons are excitable, and they not only get excited, but after excitation they cause conduction also. They transmit that wave of electrical potential changes across the neuronal membrane, right? Then other type of cells are neuroglia. The neuroglia cells, they are not excitable. They do not get excited. They only help the neurons in their functioning. Right? We learn about these cells more in nervous system, but at this stage you should only know that neuroglia, they do not get excited like neurons. They are not excitable cells. If you stimulate them, they will not get excited. They only help the neuron. The cells which get excited are neurons, and it is only because of their excitability power followed by their conductibility that they are capable of receiving the messages and transmitting the messages from organ to CNS, from CNS to the organ, and they make the function of the nervous system possible, right? So this is your nervous tissue. They are made up of neurons and neuroglia. All CNS, PNS are made up of nervous tissue. The nervous neurons are excitable cells, right? And they are specialized for receiving and transmitting messages. When you stimulate them, they get excited, the membrane potential will change, and then this change in the membrane potential will then propagate. At the point of stimulus, the membrane potential will change. This will trigger the change in the adjacent. This will trigger the change in the adjacent region. So you have a wave of membrane potential changes propagating. This is called as a nerve impulse. This is how the neurons function. They get excited and then they transmit the messages and make the functioning of the nervous system possible, right? So I hope you must have understood.